Okay. It is 13:30 hours on the 20th of April, 1809, and I haven't been by in a while to update all of you about what has happened. And I imagine a lot of folks are going to want to ask some questions when all this is said and done. We've been at this, here we are again, more than a year into it, and the fight continues here in the 1809 Kriegspiel. So, there's the overall map, and there's a whole lot of confuseration going on. Let's go left to right, since that seems to be the way of it. Here at Dachau, the forces under Marshal Lannes, because Marshal Lannes is there now. He's made his way all the way down. He came in with Napoleon to Ingolstadt. He made his way down here to Dachau, and and Oudinot and Lannes are the same human playing the character, so they knew what was going on. But now, finally, Lannes is saying, I'm trapped here. I'm being useless to the rest of the army. I give him a lot of credit for that. So he wants to go out and figure out what's going on. So he has marched all the way here with the men of Colbert's cavalry here to Gross Nobach, or Neubach, I suppose. And his next plan is to send half this brigade, or this division, I should say, down here to Munich to see what's going on, to see what the haps are. You'll remember that these are messages going hither and thither. So he's trying to figure out what is going on behind here. It'll also be remembered that his associate, Liechtenstein, well, we'll get there in a second. I'm jumping ahead. Down here, Kienmeyer, who has pinned him in Dachau, and it'll be remembered, they shoved him all the way here, back behind this river line at Dachau. He's been there for 2 days. And he's starting to get the sense that they're leaving. He can't quite figure out what it is. It's hard to picture what's going on because they've tried to do a lot of deceiving, and Clapert still hasn't left. So there's still stuff going on. But Kienmeyer thinks there's something up, and he's checking. And he wants to figure out what the what is. He also knows that there's no road through these swamps all along this path of this river. So he has to figure out what's next, and he doesn't want to be drawn over into Dachau into a trap. So he's trying to figure out what's up. Up here at Freising, this was a big battle and I probably have a video on this, it's hard to remember now, but I had a video on this, and if I didn't, I'll recap, which is to say that it was a very close-run thing. The men of Liechtenstein's Guard Corps, because these are the best troops in the Austrian army, they nearly shattered these men under Marshal Massena. But at the last minute, this last crew of Saint-Cyr came in, saved the day, and now they've sat here. There's been nothing, no movement, all during the 20th of April, and the day is over half done. So nothing's happened. They're staring at each other, and I've got no messages. More sitting. Here at Landshut, both Lewis and Rosenberg have started to suspect what's going on. What's going on? Lefebvre and Napoleon, who has come all the way from Ingolstadt, hell for leather, has come all the way here and has begun to march over this way. And I'm going to explain why in just a second. But they sense something is up, and because I've told them, it looks like people have moved off. Remember, the Austrians had shoved over the Landshut bridges. They have a purchase on this side, but they haven't been able to win the bridges. They haven't been able to seize the crossing and to declare victory. Right now, all they've got is this cavalry Bavarois division that's holding them back. But they're not moving. General Rosenberg is talking to General Lewis, but nothing. They're sitting. Now, these are some tired troops, don't get me wrong, but they're not moving either. Over here, we have one of the funnier things that's been happening in the story. Marshal Davout has marched all the way down here to Landshut, crossed all the way here past Pilsting, and has crossed over to Landau and is marching back this way. Napoleon, coming all the way from Ingolstadt, has been looking for him because these are some of the best troops in his army. He wants to know where they are. So he sent a message under this unit, the Cavalry Württemberg, to find him. Well, last turn, in the 12:30 hour, he found him right here near Dingolfing. And they had a conversation across the river and said, the Emperor's looking for you. And Davout said, well, I'm on a mission. I'm heading this way to strike these Austrians in the flank, because, frankly, we're a little stuck over here fighting them on the other side of the river. So he's pulling a fairly massive outflanking move. Well, that's had a number of consequences. Let it also be observed that 10 kilometers is sight range for these horse, so pretty soon they're going to see these Austrians coming. But heading this way to the east, Napoleon now sees him. So we're going to see what happens in the next turn. But this has been a huge consequence. Because of this troop under Saint-Sulpice, this division, which is very, very tired, but it will be remembered, chased this cavalry unit, which was the 6th Corps Brigade, all the way out from Pilsting, all the way through Oberschneiding, through Unterhofing, and he's now holding Straubing. This unit now controls this primary axis by which any messages coming from anywhere here, whether it be this area, or this area, they've got to make their way all the way here, and to here. It's the main choke point. So I've been rolling, and the odds aren't long, but I got to tell you, the rolls have been horrible. They have already captured 2 messages that were intended for Charles, and they've now just captured this one too, from Liechtenstein, sent yesterday at 8 p.m., remembering it's 1:30 the next day. This one is the next one. This is one from Kienmeyer, sent later yesterday evening, and we're going to find out if that one gets captured in the next turn. Because now, and always remember, these units are much longer than they appear. For example, Montbrun is 8.5 kilometers long. So let's take 10 as a rough measure. He is stretched out all the way to nearly to this village at the crossroads. I don't know what that is. The Pilsting is here. So this is a very, very long unit. And these guys are running straight into it. Now, if they don't get caught, and all of them have been just by sheer chance, it's been a 1 in 6 chance. If they don't get caught, they will be able to reverse course. But as a result, they're going to try to go overland to here to see if this crossing is available. So things are going pretty good here for the French. Not so much up here. These are 3 Austrian corps that are about to land on top of de Monts' division in Ratisbon. We just finished up the first 2-hour combat, and it was horrible. Frankly, it was only the fact that I rolled a little below average. It wasn't horrible, but a little below average that de Monts is still able to hold. The men of Bellegarde's corps have already crashed through the Stadt Umhof. They're getting ready to cross the famous stone bridge at Ratisbon. These men are going through the outer gates. De Monts not long for this world in terms of a fighting force. The crazy thing, though, has been Vandamme. He has been here for hours, watching this massive assembly of men. Tens of thousands of Austrian troops gathering around Ratisbon, getting ready to take it. And he's been sending frantic messages to Napoleon. You can see there's one right here to Lefebvre, and there are others that have already made their way to Napoleon, saying, guys, something's going on. There's Vandamme telling him, this bad thing is about to happen. He has decided that he is going to try to poke at this cavalry right here and see if he can't get anybody to come with him. We'll see. And this is a wooded hill. It's pretty flat in this area, but it's certainly wooded farmland, and he is wildly outnumbered. And as you can see, even though his Württembergers are on their way back, his little bitty 7 Corps or his 8 Corps is not going to be long for it if they do turn to fight. The Archduke Charles sitting right there along with Koloroth, they seem pretty intent on making their way into the city, which they should do by 1530 later on today. So there's an awful lot going on. And one of the great questions is, well, what's a victory look like? Well, first things first, there are 2 major cities, Munich and Ratisbon. Very shortly, by the end of the 20th, I suspect, both of those will be in Austrian hands. So that's a big step towards victory. The problem is the French army is relatively unbloodied. The only unit that's really been rendered useless in combat is these fellows from Saint-Julien, who you'll remember got pounded all the way over here with all those crossings of the Landshut bridges, and they're being marched as prisoners over here to Ingolstadt. That's how far they are behind the lines. So you'll see that there's still a lot of Frenchmen left, including the relatively unscathed 3rd Corps. Now, the one thing I will say about the 3rd Corps is that they're tired. They've been marching an awful long time. So I don't know what's going to happen. These fellows have been resting, but remember, you don't get your fatigue and your morale back until you rest for an entire day. So that won't happen until midnight. It's 13:30. Darkness doesn't hit until 10:30 p.m. So just doing the math, you've got 7 hours left. 7 hours. These fellows march off-road. Where did my off-road march go? There it is. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's a fight. So before the end of the day, if they continue to march, these fellows are going to make it here, and we could have a very different Battle of Landshut than what transpired in history. And it comes from Marshal Davout thinking a little bit outside the box. I don't know what Napoleon's going to do. I don't know what Lefebvre is going to do with his corps. I don't know what Davout is about. I think Davout is pretty intent on his course. But we have this fight waiting to happen, this fight waiting to happen, and of course Ratisbon about to fall. So we're pretty much heading to the decisive moments. There's not a whole lot of maneuvering left to do, and it's going to fall down to the combat. So we'll certainly get back to this and have a look at it by the end of the day, but I wanted to bring you all up to speed as to where we were at 13:30 on the 20th of April. We will see you the next time.